Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing 3 more middle grade reviews. So my month is going really well so far. I've really been enjoying what I've been reading. So here are the latest 3 that I've read. The first was The Creakers by Tom Fletcher, and this I listened to in part as an audiobook and in part I read. If I'm honest, I started it off reading and I just thought I'd rather listen to it on audio, and when I saw that Tom Fletcher was partly narrating it, I thought that I would give it a go. I also looked through the book because it has got you know, drawings throughout, just like the Christmasaurus, and I remembered when I read the Christmasaurus how much they sort of added to the story. I ended up giving this one 3 stars, and I think the reason that it got a lot lower than the Christmasaurus for me was, well, various different reasons really. The story itself didn't quite capture me as much as that sort of Christmassy feeling. I'm not really into sort of things hiding under your bed stories. I really enjoyed the sort of inventiveness of the idea behind this, and Tom Fletcher's really tried to promote sort of a message in here, and more of an ecological, environmental message with the book, and he's looking at sort of recycling and waste, and that's a really interesting theme to have managed to get into a middle grade book, which I really enjoyed. So in that part I really enjoyed how he managed to do that. I didn't like at the beginning of a lot of chapters the author talks to the reader directly, and in fact in the audiobook that's the part that Tom does, and I really found that pulled me out of the story, and I kind of wish it hadn't been there. I know that that is often used in middle grade books, and it's more of a common writing style in sort of younger children's books than it is in older, but it really pulled me out and made it feel a little bit less authentic. I just couldn't get into the story as much, and I kept being pulled out of the story by this sort of commentary from the narrator, so I didn't really enjoy that part, which brought it down quite a bit actually, because I felt I couldn't really get immersed in this story. It just kept jolting me back out. Other than that, it's one that's sort of growing on me. I'd say it's a high 3. You know, it was nearly a 4-star. I really, like I say, I enjoy the magic. Tom Fletcher's got a really great way of writing for children, and he's got a really inventive imagination, and I do love his storytelling and his ability to bring things to life, and his characters felt very fun and funny and real, and I liked the caricaturish you know, Boy Scout, and Lucy, she's really strong and feisty. She's our main female character, and you know, some of the other children that you meet along the way. And I really especially enjoyed the scene in this where you find out something to do with the parents, and they're all acting really silly, and the mayor's running around naked with like a cowboy hat covering his nether regions, and I did enjoy that very much. Yeah, but as I say, it really jolted me out with the narrator talking back out, and it just didn't capture me as much as I was hoping. So a strong 3 stars, and a good one. I definitely recommend it around this time of year, but not quite up to the same standard as Christmasaurus for me. And then the next book I read was Tin by Padraig Kennedy. Now, I didn't really know an awful lot about this. Looking at the front, it gave me sort of Wizard of Oz vibes. You've got this sort of yellowish brick road type thing, and this big sort of city and people travelling there. And actually, yes, similarities, I suppose. You have a group of people going on a quest to find a sort of inventor to help them, so in that way, you know, going to see the wizard or whatever. But the story itself was just so imaginative and inventive, and I really enjoyed it. It's set in a world where if you're a special type of sort of engineer, you can put these magical symbols onto like metal and make robots come alive. So not robots that need you know, instructions and gear sticks and you controlling them, but sort of live automaton robots. And there is a practice that has been outlawed, which is where you can take the soul of something and put it into one of these robots and make them truly almost alive. and it's been outlawed because it wasn't considered a dumb practice. And at the start of this, we meet this band of characters and their sort of creator, and they live in this sort of farm barn sort of thing in quite poverty. You know, they're in quite poverty really. They shovel snow and do things like that to make ends meet, and then a revelation occurs and one of them is needing to be rescued, and this band of robots go to find a man who can help them, and it's just about their journey. But it's such a lovely story about friendship and the things you do for friendship, and ethics, and you know, what is ethically right. And yeah, it was really lovely. It ended on a really nice happy note. It was just a really good standalone book that I just really loved and really enjoyed reading, and was way more complex and dark than I was expecting. You know, I think it's some of the themes in here and some of the sort of technology that has been created is quite complex, and I think that's really great for a middle grade book to sort of push the limits of the children's imaginations. So this was a really strong 4 stars and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then the final one, which I have just finished, is a graphic novel called The Witch Boy by Molly Knox Ostertag, and I really was drawn to this by the artwork. It's just the artwork I like, which tends to come out of sort of scholastic publishers. They tend to publish these sort of punchy, bright colours, quite simple in terms of the artwork itself. They tend to produce a lot like this, and it seems to be my thing. And this is the story of a young boy called Aster, and he lives in a sort of community which is closed off from everywhere else, and the men in this community become shapeshifters and the women become witches. And so at the very start of the book, we find Aster eavesdropping on some of the young girls who are training to be witches' lessons. He wants to do magic, he wants to be a witch, but he's not allowed. He's meant to be a shapeshifter, and he's one of the men, and that's what he's meant to be doing. But his sort of shape-shifting powers haven't come in like some of the others, and it's a very interesting look at sort of gender roles and gender stereotypes. And yeah, I enjoyed this. I did think it was a little bit basic in its, you know, it was quite easy to see where this was going to go, and there wasn't any big surprises, and it wasn't very complex in what it was trying to say. It sort of laid it out quite, you know, stage-like and quite formulaic. But that didn't mean that I didn't enjoy it while I was reading it. It was a real good read. I mean, it took me like half an hour, but it was a good half an hour that I really enjoyed, and it's definitely one I'll keep in the future to read with Matilda, and it's one that I think she'll really enjoy. And yeah, I really liked the ideas behind it, and I liked the artwork, so I don't begrudge buying it. But it was just a 3 stars. It wasn't you know, it was just a general 3 stars. It was okay. If you fancy a graphic novel that has this sort of witchy, shapeshiftery story about a boy that wants to do a job that in his community is generally or always goes to girls, then you know, you might enjoy reading this one. But yeah, a good book nonetheless, and a good 3 stars. So that is 3 of the latest middle grade books that I've read recently, and I shall be moving on to read some more, and I'll come back to you soon with some more reviews. That's it from me. Bye for now, BookTube.